Thank you, Phyllis, for what you've done. Thank you.
Thank you, dear. And thank you all for being so patient and listening to this remarkable group of women who are making women's history with you and who in the process are changing history. It's my honor to read the Declaration for the Dignity and Human Rights of Women and to deliver it to you. The struggle for the dignity and equal rights of wisdom, the struggle for the dignity and equal rights of women is the global and civil rights struggle of our time. I'm going to do that one more time, because it's really all right there. The struggle for the dignity and equal rights of women is the global human and civil rights struggle of our time. War and violence, economic disparity and impoverishment, environmental damage and its devastating consequences fall disproportionately upon women and girls who also suffer the most prevalent injustices in our world today: violence, child marriage, slavery and forced prostitution, rape and sexual assault, domestic brutality and abuse, honor killings and immolation, bodily and genital mutilation, gendercide of girls, and selective abortion of female fetuses, and legitimized murder of women are pandemic. Throughout the world, 1 in 3 women has been raped, beaten, or violently assaulted. 700 million women were little girls when they were married. 140 million women have suffered some form of genital mutilation. Institutions in which women are given little or no voice impose constraints on women's basic freedoms to control their own bodies, to move about freely, to own property, to choose to marry or obtain a divorce, or to not marry, to retain custody of their children, to have their testimony given equal weight in court, to receive an education, or simply to work. All over the world, they risk being ostracized, abused, or killed if they try to change these unjust conditions. Even where advances towards equality have been made, women continue to suffer. They suffer disproportionately from poverty and environmental devastation, from violence and abuse, life-damaging discrimination, in access to education and healthcare, and in systematic exclusion from the decision-making within religious and other institutions that determine the quality of their lives. These shameful violations of women's dignity and human rights are based on a false premise that men and boys are superior to women and girls. It's an outdated view, and it's perpetuated by too many religious leaders and people of faith who choose to misinterpret or selectively and carefully select scripture texts and teachings to proclaim the inferiority of women and girls. These harmful and religiously justified beliefs permeate societies and contribute to the pervasive deprivations and abuse suffered by women and girls throughout the world. The justification of discrimination against women and girls on grounds of religion or tradition, as if it were prescribed by a higher authority, is unacceptable. It is time to end these practices and these views. It is time to heal the broken heart of humanity's feminine self. Being treated justly and with respect should not depend on whether one is male or female. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the Declaration towards a Global Ethic call for the equal rights of men and women, and the teachings of all the world's religions universally call for compassionate and equal treatment of all, both men and women. The principle of treating others the same way one wishes to be treated is stated in one form or another throughout the religions of the world. We are all interconnected and interdependent, and when half the human race suffers, we all suffer. We must all be treated with justice, with respect, with kindness, and with love. It is impossible to imagine a God, a divine source, a sacred and ultimate reality that is unjust. There is no religion that despises women, for hatred and oppression cannot come from the heart of God, or Goddess, or Heavenly Mother, or Holy Father, nor flow from that which is divine, the Creator, the Source, the All, the One. It is impossible to imagine the healthy, sustainable, just, and peaceful world of our collective future without the spiritual wisdom and leadership of women. Therefore, we, your grandmothers, your mothers, your daughters, your wives and sisters, call upon our grandfathers, our fathers, our husbands, our sons and brothers, and we call upon each other, upon all people of faith, to alleviate the unwarranted deprivation and suffering of women and girls. We are mindful and grateful for leaders and people of faith and institutions of faith already fighting for the dignity, well-being, equal status, and human rights of women around the globe. But more good work remains to be done. And so we call upon the religions of the world to lead the way in ending violence against women and girls. We call upon religious leaders and people of faith to challenge and change harmful teachings and practices that justify discrimination and violence against women. We call upon all religious leaders and peoples of faith to acknowledge and emphasize the positive messages of dignity and equality that the world's faiths share. We call upon all religious leaders and people of faith to embrace their moral responsibility and collectively commit to ensuring that women are fully and equally involved in decision-making within religions and in every sphere that involves their lives. We call upon the world's religions to honor and uphold the dignity, the well-being, and human rights of women and girls. We commit ourselves to this collective undertaking to heal the heart of our humanity by releasing women, girls, men, and boys from the bondage of gender-based discrimination and violence, and we do so with hope and with faith in our future. We deliver this declaration to you, and we ask that you receive it. If you'll take hands, if you'll accept it. Thank you. We're going to do call to action. So this is our call of conscience to all of you, and we call you to action. If you'll look in your commitment guides, you'll find a list of actions that you can undertake. There's also space there for your prayer and for your personal commitment. We ask you to make it and to share it with the world. Prayer changes ourselves, but it's the actions that we take that change the world. Thank you.